Hi folks, yes, I am back and I'm like a kid in a toy store today because I've been holding on for quite some while waiting for one specific gun to reach me, and today is that day. So for those guys that follow me on Instagram, thank you very much. You would know that this for today is the Brk Ghost, all the way from Brk, and I got a new one. Look at this. Look at this, a brand new Brk Ghost. Now a couple of disclaimers before I begin. As you know by now, I buy my own guns, I buy my own ammo, I buy everything myself, but not this time round. Yes, I did buy the gun with my own money. I had to sell one of those other lookalike guns. I'm not going to say which one, but it starts with an F. I had to sell that gun to buy this one. Yeah, I still have one of those Fs left, don't worry about that. I can still do high power because eventually I want to do a comparison between the two, and I know somewhere along the line somebody's going to hate me for this, but that's fair. I'm all about integrity, I'm all about the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So thanks for tuning in. I'm going to show you guys quickly what I love about this gun, and then obviously what I hate about the gun, because this is an honest channel. But after playing with the gun for a week, and I say play very lightly because I haven't shot it yet, I just looked at the internals a little bit, I looked at the composition of the gun, and there's very little that I can find fault with this gun. At the price bracket, I think it's very well priced. The versatility in the gun is right up there. The interchangeability of barrels is right up there. The only thing I need to do is actually shoot it now. But before we get into the shooting, let's have a closer look at the gun itself. Alright, so before I start with the unboxing of this, and yes, you've seen a lot of unboxing videos about Brk Ghost, but you know that an opinion is like an air hole. Everybody has one, and I have one as well, so I'm going to share my opinion with you guys as well. But before I go on, I must say a massive thanks to Ian at SA Air Rifles. Ian was so kind enough to sponsor me some decent bean bags that I can use to steady the gun a little bit more. And to that I say a massive thanks, but that's not where it stopped. He also provided me with a goodie box. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the tools or one of the projectiles I'm going to use. These are the latest Zans in all different sizes, weights, everything. So Ian and your team, sincere thanks mate for the massive sponsorship of the Slugs. I really appreciate this. Guys, I've got in value more slugs than what I actually paid for the gun. Not just the Zans, but the own stash that I've got as well. So I'm going to shoot more slugs through this gun than the actual worth of this gun as we go along. So hold on to your marbles, this is going to be some fun through that. So Ian and team, thank you very much. Go and have a look at their website. They do some amazing stuff, and they've got just about every brand that you can think about in there. Right, so let's start with this baby that I've got here behind me. As you can see, brand spanking new, haven't done anything to it yet. I can now finally take the label and rip it off. Oh, didn't do that properly. Alright, so the Brk Ghost looks like one of the other brands out there. Right, but there are some massive changes and differences, and I'll talk about them as I go along. So first and foremost, the feel of this gun is totally solid, and I'm going to talk about some stuff that's going to peeve off some other manufacturers, but that's fine. We can handle this on this channel, I hope so. We've got we're adult enough to look at it from that perspective. The first thing that stood out on this gun is the absolute solid block where all the mechanics are in. Now this is solid from way behind here up to the point where the bottle sits in. That is one solid piece. Now immediately that gives you rigidity in the gun. Not that flexible, whimsy-flimsy things that you see out in the market, but it also means that there are less components that can screw loose, bend, can have variance on the gun itself. So from that perspective alone, one up for Brk in that regard. Absolutely love this cocking lever that they've got. It's smooth, it's got a nice grip to it, feels great. The bottles are, I don't like this gauge by the way. This is the Brk gauge, this is the full gauge for the bottle itself. But I absolutely do love the humor rig that's in here, because the humor regulator is very fine in its adjustments, and it's a lot easier to see that in that regard. So that is brilliant. The other one not so brilliant. A couple of other things that stood out. For the first time, it's easy to adjust the regulator. Now this gun comes out of the box stock standard at 145 bar on the regulator, and that's where I'm going to start my testing. I'm not going to adjust the regulator at all on this gun unless I really want to tune the power down, which I will probably do in a later video. But until I've shot about 10 or 13,000 shots with it, I'm not going to do that. I don't need to. But it's a nice way. It's an external rig, easy to adjust. There's no valve bounce knob, and oh sorry, I'm referring to another competitor out there again. There's no valve bounce knob and a hammer adjustment knob and a regulator that you have to adjust. So they went down from 3 adjustments to 2. Now in my life that makes it a heck of a lot easier, because with all due respect, the versatility that I need in the gun, I don't have the time to try and balance out those 3 things. The ultimate innovation is simplicity, and that is where the Brk really stands out. So let's go through the features quickly. 20 power adjustments in the back, quite nice and easy to do. Nice cheekpiece, fully adjustable, not fully adjustable, it moves forward and backward. Can fit just about any bottle onto this, interchangeable, love that. Solid build. It's got a Picatinny rail on the bottom, it's got a Picatinny rail on the sides for all those nice gadgets. It's got a nice Picatinny rail on top. Now this is where it stands out, because usually when you get into your shooting position, you see that your eye relief is not 100% when you add a scope, and I'll add a scope in the next couple of minutes to this. What's nice about this rail, it is fully adjustable, so I can move this whole rail back to forth to fit my eye adjustment on my scope. So instead of moving the scope in its rings and having it misaligned again, I can just flop on my scope onto this one and adjust the top rail accordingly. If you don't like Picatinny, don't worry, this is a dove rail right here. So you can actually take this rail off in totality and put your dove mounts on here as well. So well done for the small things that Brk thought about the Brk Ghost. Some other niceties here, you've got adjustable butt pad, doesn't faze me too much. I would actually love some aftermarket parts on this one to extend this butt pad further back, because I've got long arms, not long fingers. That means you're stealing stuff. I've got long arms, it means I'm a gorilla. I like to sit back a little bit more in the gun, so I would like to see an extension here in the back, and I think the guys will bring that out eventually. I would also like to see the cheek piece being able to raise it a little bit to get that perfect seated position on the chin. Alright, so that's to start with. I think the biggest thing where Brk got it right is in the barrel. Alright, so there's a massive shroud on here, and there's an end cap as well where you can fit a moderator or a silencer on. And believe me, I'm going to put a big one on here because I'm going to chase these guys at quite some speed. Easy to take the shroud off. Okay, it's not a massive thing. You don't have the 70,000 O-rings that you can squash and squeeze. It's got 2 little knobs here, Allen keys. Just make sure that you screw them all the way out. If you just loosen them, it won't come off. You need to screw them all the way out. Carbon fiber just pulls off, and you can actually do that. Exactly the same with the barrel. One little screw unscrews the whole barrel. I did that, as I said, I played with the gun, I didn't shoot it, I played with the gun, I unscrewed the barrel, took off the shroud, and I gave this barrel a proper cleaning. I always do that with new guns. Once it comes from the factory, I give it a proper cleaning. So this barrel is super clean at this stage, and there's no shots through it currently, right? This is a Lothar Walther match grade barrel. Now immediately, ladies and gentlemen, this is solid. It is a solid barrel. I'll take it out in a couple of minutes and show you guys that. This is a solid barrel. In other words, it's not those flimsy little pea shooters that you need stiffeners on the inside to make it a little bit more stiff, otherwise your harmonic tuning is totally out of whack. This thing is solid. Yes, you can fit, if you want to do bench rest, you can fit a barrel tuner onto this as well. But for the purposes I'm going to use this gun, predominantly hunting, I don't need a barrel tuner because I'm going to shoot at different distances, and your harmonic notes will differ as you go out with different slugs and different notes. So for me, this is perfect. Bottle, standard one, you'll get this in any shop in that, interchangeable. I've got a couple of them in my arsenal, so I don't have to fill up every time. Talking about full, in the bottom, nice little magnetic full adapter key. And yes, it does come with an adapter. It's in here somewhere, come on. Right, so there is an adapter that you can add there to your bottle. Nice and long, easy to fill, easy to release. I know there's some other guns that you need to get your fingers in there to get it, and you break your nails, for those guys that want it about nails, alright? But nice and easy to do in that regard, and an easy scenario. Right, the magazine itself, 10-shot magazine for the .22 that I'm playing with. Nice, easy fit, smooth action, easy to load. The only thing, and as I said, I bought this gun so I'm allowed to say negative things as well. 10 is not enough. Not for the type of shooting I do and for the speed that I need to shoot. Yes, you can buy a second magazine and have that back to back in the armor. Once you're done with your first 10 shot, just flick it through and go for another 10. This is the only drawback of the Brk currently, and I hope there's an engineer or somebody out there that can help us with that situation. I need more shots, and unfortunately the gun only came with one magazine. I would have loved at least a second magazine, even a third and a fourth for that matter, so I'll probably invest in some more magazines in this regard. But with the gun as it is in my grubby little paws currently, I don't have to buy any aftermarket parts to make the shoot more accurate. Obviously, the proof is in the pudding when I get out to the range. It was raining about 10 minutes ago. Hopefully the rain will cease a little bit and give me an opportunity to really test some accuracy. And there's a couple of things that I'm going to do with this. Alright, nice safety switch here. Easy to reach, left and right handed. Match grade trigger on there. Super. I'll play around with that trigger to adjust it to my touch in that regard. But overall, it is solid. It's not a heavy gun, 3.1 kilograms if I'm not mistaken without scope. It's not heavy, but it's solid. Now there's a big difference there. You can get plastic that is heavy and feels all wumpy and wacky all around there. But the one thing that I immediately felt when I held this gun is that, oh my greatness, it feels quality. Right, and I'm going to reiterate that. No flimsy little barrel in here, no pea shooter lining in there. This is a solid Lothar Walther match grade barrel. The one thing about the Lothar Walther barrels that I've experienced previously is that they need cleaning regularly. I'm going to test that theory in this barrel as well, because every time I change slugs, I usually pull it through, wipe it through it to make sure that it is clean, and then I re-lead it with the new slugs. I'm going to do that in any case in this scenario, but I'm not going to deep clean it in between, shifting between slugs and pellets and all of that. And then once the first video is done, I'm going to really put 1,000 or 2,000 rounds through it without cleaning it to see if there's any major shift in accuracy in the gun itself, so we can embed that myth on these guns as well. Alright, so without any further ado or too much fuzz, let's put on the scope and let's do some chrony testing first. So for the chrony perspective, I've got the JSB 25.39 grade redesigns. I'm going to do chrony tests with that all the way from power setting minimum all the way to max. That's 20 power settings, right? So I'm going to shoot it throughout the box. I want to find out quickly, and as you see, this is the first time I'm shooting this gun. I want to see exactly where does the power start, where does it end, because that will give me an indication of which slugs I should start with first. Now in the arsenal of slugs, and I'll show you the whole plethora that I've got, I think it's 5 different brands here. So I've got the H&Ns, thank you Jorgen team that supplied that, and for the first time I'll be able to shoot those extra heavy H&Ns as well, because I just could not get my poor FX to run them at a decent speed. So I'll be shooting the new heavy H&N slugs as well. I've got the old javelins, not the Mark II javelins. I need to save up to buy some more javelins to the Mark II to give them a proper test. I've got the JSB knockouts, but I only have a very few in 217s. I've got predominantly 216s, so that might be slightly different. The barrel is slightly choked in the front. It's got a very, very moderate choke on it, so I don't know how that is going to affect the size of the slugs in that regard. It should do exceptionally well with pellets, and I know that some other YouTube sponsored guys have shown that up to 120, 130 meters with the redesigns shooting doves, brilliant shooting. I don't know how they read the wind, but yes, that's some brilliant shooting there. Then I've got some unknown slugs, and then of course I've got the Zun slugs, the major sponsor. Thank you, Ian, again. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got 15 different slugs, sizes and weights to run through, which is going to be awesome. So while talking about Zun slugs, one of my previous issues with the Zun slugs was that they weren't that greatly packed. But this time around, I want to show you guys this. This is quite awesome. Thank you for the target. That's going to be my 100-meter target. But the Zun slugs now, to prevent damage, it's now covered with a nice little coat that you can easily pull off, which makes this, from a package perspective, so much greater. Thanks Zun for thinking about this little element, so you don't have slugs running around in your boxes anymore. It's easy to store. I think that's a nice little add-on from the manufacturer, and it's easy to get the slugs out. They even got this little stiffener carton in here that also helps as a protective layer for shipping. So I don't expect any bent or damaged slugs when I open these. I will have a check later on. And then as a final one, I've got some unknown slugs that I'm going to test as well. Only 3 weights and only in 217. Now I'm lying, I've got 5 different weights. I've got 217s, 218s. In essence, ladies and gentlemen, I've got more slugs in monetary value than what I actually paid for the gun, which is going to be awesome. Alright, so let me quickly put on the scope, let me zero it quickly, and then we'll start the speed checking. I will put the camera on the front the moment I've zeroed the scope. I don't think you guys need to see how I zero a scope and at what speed. I'll put the chrony on and I'll run through the chrony settings quickly. After that, I'll decide which slug gets first priority, and then we can have some fun. So thanks for listening to this long retort. I'll put in some pictures as I go along of all the different parts and how to assemble and disassemble this gun. Okay, so welcome to the way that I actually test the gun. So this gun has now got about 30 pellets through the barrel. It's not even leaded in yet. I do not, with all honesty, at this stage of the fight expect extreme accuracy, because as I said, I just shot it for the first time. But let's see what it does. I do expect the accuracy to pick up as I get used to the gun, as I get used to the trigger as well, and a couple of other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot 5 shot groups. I'm going to start off with minimum power and chase it up until it barks so loud that the police is going to jump on me. Alright, so let's do this. It might take a while, so hang in there. That's not a bad opening group, running at about 912, 916 feet per second. I'm going to go one click right on the scope, and I'm going to up the power by 1. Right, let's do this. $926. I think these pellets are already starting to destabilize, but let's carry on regardless. Loading these big pellets feels like I'm loading a 38 special or something. Power setting 2. Oh, perfect bull. That's mightily impressive at this stage. Alright, power setting 3. Right, the trigger right out of the factory is extremely hard. I will adjust that in a later video. It's got a bit of a sluggishness on it, but the moment it breaks extremely crisp, so that's nice. But I will have to lower the weight, the pull on the trigger itself. There's almost no first stage, so the second stage just needs to be lightened a little bit. Right, before I go to the next power setting, let me quickly fill up the gun again and let it rip. And then, just when I thought my maths really sucked, because did I shoot 4 pellets on that last one or 5? I realized this is an 11 shot tray. So every time I shoot 10 pellets and I open it and I see, why is there one left? Did I make a counting error on front? Aye, back to grade 1 for me. Right, we're on power level 4. Let's see where these guys in. Alright, I can see some type of destabilization in the pellet itself. It's not the gun. We're running at about 944 feet per second. And I'm only now going up to level 5. Wow, they're zinging. Oof, they are zinging in my ears as well. I like it. Alright, 7. Alright. Looks like it's stabilized around about 946. It's a little bit heavy on the air side at that speed. Let me fill up quickly again and then we'll go on to power level 8. Alright, I just changed diving tanks quickly. The previous tank only filled up to 195 bar, shooting it down to 155 bar. So I didn't get a nice full shot count as well. So let's see if I do a proper shot count, what the results will look like. Alright, all the way up to power level 8. No way. Alright, so I didn't, that first shot, I did not with the bottle full shoot it at the proper reg, but that's 4 in a row through the same hole effectively at 960 feet a second. Sure. Right, let's go up to power 9. Alright, I'm officially falling in love with this gun. There's no two ways about it. I'm falling in love. 960 feet a second. Sure. Alright. It's not that light on fuel though. It's chowing. It's chowing. It's chowing. Right. I'm actually enjoying the low jump in speed between the different power settings. In other words, you can actually fine tune the gun then a little bit bigger. I was worried that on that setting that it would jump 10 or 20 or 15 feet per second, and then obviously you can't fine tune for harmonics. But the power wheel is in small increments, which I absolutely adore. Let's go for power setting 10. Ooh, alright, let's go for 11. Small differences, small differences. Right, still got enough air, we can go for another one. Let me just go and change targets there in the front and set up again. Ooh, it's raining, so I just need to get my glasses dry. Right, let's go up to power setting 12. Let's see what happens there. It looks to me like at around about power setting 12 that the hammer and the reg pressure reaches equilibrium. It's not shooting any faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to power setting 15 and see what it does there. If it doesn't make a huge difference in speed, then I know that between the reg pressure that I've currently got on there and the hammer spring, we've got equilibrium. In other words, to get faster speeds, you'll have to up the reg pressure. I've still got enough air in the bottle. Let's go for this. Power setting 15. Where did shot number 4 go? Unless it's through the same hole as one of the others. Weird. Alright. Yep, we've reached equilibrium. To get more speed out of it, you'll have to up the reg pressure a little bit. Let's put it on maximum power and have a go there. beat that. 5 shots, same hole. I don't think there's a literally through the same hole. 965 feet per second. That's at max power. So now I know that the gun is around about at power setting 12. If I want to get more power out of it, I need to up the rec pressure a little bit to get to that. Currently running at about 145 bar the rec pressure with 25 grainers. I think I found a sweet spot there. And then I need to look at the consumption here as well, and it is chowing air at that stage. I'll do the count afterwards and put it in the top as well, how many shots I got from a 250 bar full down to 150. Looking at that results, where's my chart now, and I look at this picture over here, I think that for air consumption purposes I'll probably shoot it at, where's a nice grouping, power setting 11, or even power setting 8, or even 4, all depends. Alright, let's go and measure up, give you guys the results so far, and then let's put a slug through it. I'm gonna do the JSBs 216s first, because it's exactly the same weight and I do expect approximately the same speeds out of it. Right, let's do this, but first measure up. It is not often that I'm at a total loss for words. Straight out of the box, no fiddly with the gun whatsoever, and it shoots these redesigns like a king. All the way from minimum power right through to maximum power, and I must admit that is the most awesome and perfect grouping I've ever shot in my life. At maximum power, 33 yards, 963 feet per second, or 52.3 pound energy, 5 holes, and you can cover them with the pellet that I shot it at. I need say no more. So next up, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be shooting some slugs, and I'll post the results there. Needless to say, I was quite surprised. I did not expect that. But to watch that, tune in for the next video. Like, subscribe, go mad.
That's all, folks.